Hey, it's Lawyer Lisa, and today I want to talk about how you boil your pasta water. It's as easy as that, right? I want to do a couple thought experiments with you, and I want to, push the envelope. I did a minor in chemistry, and I did my major, my Bachelor of Science, my honors Bachelor of Science in environmental science. And at one point, I would have thought greenhouse gases, right? Because that's what I was taught. But I have also taught a lot of science, a lot of first principle thinking. And I actually think it's a really good undergraduate degree to go into law because you really get to the stare decisis very easily. You really get to the nuts and bolts of any kind of legal problem. But I'm going to use an analogy today. When you're boiling water for pasta, do you apply the flame to the air above the pot in order to heat your water, to bring it to boil? Do you apply a flame and you apply it in the air above that pasta water? No, you don't. And why is that? Well, because air has very little thermal mass. It has very little ability to hold and share heat, right? The more dense a substance is, the better it can hold heat. So you have to imagine that the entire basis of, the retained heat from the atmosphere heating, the oceans or solid earth or us, you have to think about this thought experiment. And you have to believe that somehow you can heat the air to transfer heat from air to liquids to solids. And so it can happen at a very, very infinitesimal low rate compared to applying the source of heat, which is the sun, to the ocean itself. So that's our boiling water, right? So we are in a 70-year thermal or solar maximum, right? Let's do another thought experiment. You're standing in the same air under a tree during a hot sweltering day, and you're then standing in the same air in the sun beside the tree, right? Very little difference in air, right? Where are you cool and where are you warm? You're cool in the shade, right? Why is humidity a factor, right, in how comfortable you are? That's because the greater humidity means that there's more saturation of water vapor, means that there is just a bit more thermal mass in the air than when there's no humidity. You're more uncomfortable, right? But air, generally speaking, is comprised of particles that are very far apart from each other and therefore have very little ability to transfer their heat compared to a solid or liquid. And so when I think about that ocean, is it the air heating that ocean, right? That's the greenhouse gas theory, the air heating that ocean. Or does the sun have a really big effect? And there's some great new papers that are talking about the modulating effect of water vapor, right? So in that when water vapor collects and becomes a cloud, it can shade the oceans. And during those instances, the oceans attract so much less heat. And when the clouds are not present, that heat is transferred directly to the water. These are first principle type discussions about science, right? Thermal mass and the transfer of energy, right? How you boil pasta. And I want you to think about that because the real reason that you have climate change theories being on trapping heat in air through carbon dioxide and then subsequently making the individual's consumption of goods and services connected to the carbon dioxide is that to solve for climate change, you have to apply a carbon leash. You have to reduce consumption, right? You have to stop eating meat. The farts. The cow fart climate knob. You just got to turn it. Less farts, more farts. Heat your house with the new cow fart? No. Well, anyways, that's the way it works, right? You cannot disagree with their science. You can't talk from a first principle basis because it hides an architecture of power. I call them the transnational tropes. They are what you can't disagree with because it hides the vision that is coming out. So the carbon leash applies to what you eat, right? Are you eating meat? Are you eating dairy? Are you eating bugs like a good citizen? Or lab goo like a good citizen, right? Are you traveling on planes? Oh no, don't do that. Or do you have a personal vehicle? Oh no. Are you buying clothes? Oh no, right? Are you living in your own house in a footprint that's larger than 350 square feet? Oh no, right? When the carbon leash is assembled, right, enforced through CBDC and regulations, right, and we're in the smart city and we're known online and we're known in real time through the smart city, through the biosurveillance, through our facial recognition. Take a look at this mug. This is who I am, telling truth. When that's all assembled, you can crank that noose a little bit, that carbon leash. The things you can't disagree with, I call them the transnational trope. One of them is climate. It hides the carbon leash. It hides that they want to solve for climate through consumptive interventions. So, as, I don't know, wolf populations go up, they can eat meat, right? While our population goes down. That's okay. It's only humans eating meat that matters, right? You have to start really critically looking at your world. And I think a lot of people are as a result of policies that were asinine through the COVID era. And we saw totalitarian policies, and we saw no redress or very little redress in the courts. And we saw very little understanding because there's so few actual discussions taking place in media. It's all bread and circus. It's all in bread and circus. If you like my posts, please like, share, subscribe, comment, and ask me for more. Tell me what you're interested in. Anyways, I'm a subject matter expert on a lot of transnational tropes, and I understand where we're headed and how they're being applied to us. I have some ideas for pushback, and I'm going to put those up next.